Tonight on Texas News Primetime.
A gun scare erupts in West Campus area.
An Israel block party attracts pro-Palestinian counter-protesters.
And early voting begins for the May 6 statewide elections.
You're watching Texas News Primetime.
News made for Longhorns.
Good evening and welcome to Texas News Primetime for April 24th. I'm Meah.
And I'm Kevin Baskar. Thank you for joining us tonight. A video circulated around social media on Wednesday depicting a suspicious person carrying what looked like a rifle through West Campus. This video quickly caught the attention of students and UT Austin police, who tweeted updates on the matter. UTPD was unable to locate this person after the search of the area of the same day. However, on Thursday, a UTPD officer was able to identify the person and the supposed gun in question while on patrol. The gun in question was determined to be a plastic toy. According to UT Austin police, no arrest was made as no criminal offense was identified. This past Wednesday, Texas Hillel, UT Jewish Student Center, held the Israel block party on Speedway. Primetime Editor-in-Chief Kevin Myers reports on what happened at the event. Let's take a look.
Texas Hillel held their annual Israel Block Party in front of Gregory Gymnasium on April 19th. On the other side of Speedway, the Palestine Solidarity Committee organized a protest of the event to highlight human rights abuses by the Israeli government against Palestinians. The Israel Block Party has been an annual event on campus that bills itself as a celebration of Israeli culture, with booths dedicated to food, sports, a marketplace, and even a discussion booth, though the event isn't intended to be political.
It's a day when students can come and be proud of a piece of land that we have, which we can call our own.
Israel is this really fascinating area. We were exiled for 2,000 years, and now we all come back and we share all our cultures together, and it's a beautiful mishmash. A lot of foods that come from, especially the Middle Eastern ones, like shakshuka, falafel and stuff, were definitely brought in through other cultures.
Opposing the Israel Block Party is the Palestine Solidarity Committee. The protesters seek to draw attention to Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories and system of discrimination. The UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights in Palestinian territory, Michael Link, says, quote, satisfies the prevailing evidentiary standard for the existence of apartheid, end quote. Protesters say they're here to prevent this issue from being ignored.
It's something that it should be required of everyone to, fight against oppression.
I felt the need to protest was I've been Muslim my whole life. Growing up, I've heard a lot about the atrocities going on in Palestine.
However, for attendees of the Israel Block Party, the event provides a sense of community for a minority group on campus.
I'm from the Northeast, and so I was surrounded by a big Jewish population. It definitely threw me off kind of how little Jews were around me. This event, bringing together a bunch of various communities that I'm part of, feels really, really special.
For those in the opposition, however, the event takes on a different significance.
Essentially a celebration of the state of Israel, which is an apartheid state. So that means it's a celebration of ethnic cleansing of Palestinians.
Some attendees of the Israel Block Party sought to avoid politics. Others welcome the protests and offer advice on criticizing Israel without leaning into anti-Semitism.
It's freedom of speech, and we're very passionate about Israel. They're very passionate about it. Stick to facts, talk history, and don't get emotional. And everyone deserves a place to live, and everyone needs a home.
For Texas News Primetime, I'm Kevin Myers.
Located off the Capitol Mall is the Chuck Wagon Cafe. The establishment opened in late January and has become a popular place to grab a bite in Austin. The owner, Thomas Cheppy, has been integral towards the cafe's success, despite having a disability. Let's take a further look.
In June of 2007, I opened the Chuck Wagon Cafe at the Federal Building in San Antonio. And I'd heard about this building, here at 1601 North Congress. I knew about this in May of 2017, and then it was time. I needed a bid. So unfortunately, I won this one too.
Working with him, it's been a different challenge. Of course, I know a lot of people that husbands and wives work together, have their own set of challenge. Us, because he is visually impaired.
I've had to suck up some pride, and to make things quicker in business, I will ask somebody for help. I use my iPhone a lot for a magnifier. I use a magnifying glass. I don't have that facial recognition, and I know there's a lot of stuff I don't see, but I try to compensate, and then if I really need help, I'm going to ask for it, or I just figured it out myself.
So he contributes a lot of the knowledge base, the background of it. So as far as when we go to plan a menu, you know, he's the one that will be the one that determines how much of a certain product we need.
And then on top of that, he comes out here, he does the politicking. You know, talking to the customers, hey, how you doing? Customer service, he makes sure everything's good. Gets the customers' opinions, suggestions, what can we do to become better, yada, yada, you know, so he's very crucial to the organization, to the business.
I mean, he pretty much has accomplished most of what he sets his mind to, and I'm proud of him for that. I mean, he doesn't compromise. He knows what he wants, and you know, if it costs a little bit more, you know, his mentality is, you know, that's worth it.
Come out and give us a try. If anything, just come out and say hello. This is what Texas Friendly is right here. This is who we are.
The extended mini documentary about Thomas Cheppy is published on our YouTube channel.
Canaan Abel's, an iconic bar that has existed in UT's West Campus since 1991, will be closing and relocating this Friday. Senior reporter Julia Meah reported on the public's reaction to the bar's closing. Let's take a look.
Behind me is the classic bar and location, Canaan Abel's, known to locals as Cables. They shut down and relocate on April 28th, and today, Texas News Primetime explores the feelings of these students and how they feel about this move.
When I was going to school here, this was a place that I went to when I either had nothing to do or, in tough times, nowhere else to go.
For me, it's been 3-4 decades since I was here having fun and coming back here, so it obviously means something, and blessed to have it.
A project plan filed by Blyle Engineering and 24RG LLC with the City of Austin show that the bar will be replaced by a 30-story apartment complex. Frequenters of the bar had some strong opinions about the location being taken over by yet another high-rise.
How many more of these big high-rises do we need? We need Canaan Abel's. It's a shame that the City of Austin is letting this happen.
The fact that it is a new high-rise coming in here, a new student housing high-rise, like, that's the last thing this neighborhood needs.
Canaan Abel's will be moving to 907 West 24th Street, only 2 blocks west from its original location. However, there's a special sentiment from the public for the original landmark.
It won't be the same exact place that I was here decades ago and she's here now.
At the end of the day, it's not really about the place, it's about the people. So if the people still go out, if they still go out with their friends, if future Longhorns still claim that as their own, as their new Canaan Abel's, then it's going to be just fine.
My message is for you youngsters that are going to be going to the new Abel's. You will not meet the love of your life at Abel's. You will meet your absolute best friends at Abel's.
Canaan Abel's officially closes its doors April 28th. So come out, get your last dollar beers, and get your last drinks here at this iconic building and this iconic location. Signing out, this is Julia Meah with Texas News Primetime.
For Texas News, an explosion at Dairy Farm in Dimmitt, Texas, just north of Amarillo, killed more than 18,000 cattle and injured 1 worker. According to the Animal Welfare Institution, this is the deadliest fire involving cows in over a decade. The cause of the fire was deferred to authorities for investigation. Just recently, the Texas State Fire Marshal's Office released its report from the investigation, ruling that the fire was accidental, with no evidence of foul play. Early voting for May elections began today and will continue until Tuesday of next week. Registered and eligible voters may go to voting locations in their county to vote early. Ballot propositions, school bonds, and other issues will be on the ballot. If you'd like to vote by mail, you must apply for a ballot on the Secretary of State's website and meet eligibility criteria. Election day will be on Saturday, May 6th. All eligible Travis County voters can vote at the Flan Academic Center on campus.
For Primetime Nation, a number of shootings swept across the U.S. this week. While Republicans push for less restrictions on firearms, Democrats are continuing to call for stricter firearm regulations. In the past week, 9 teens were injured in a shooting at an after-party prom party in Texas. Another 32 teens were killed and injured during a Sweet 16 party in Alabama. A 22-year-old woman was shot and killed after driving into the wrong driveway, as well as 2 cheerleaders who were chased and shot after accidentally entering what they thought was their team travel van. A father and his 6-year-old were also shot when trying to retrieve a basketball that had rolled into their neighbor's front yard. Lastly, a black teen was shot in the head twice after knocking on the wrong door while looking for his friend's house. Next, 250,000 gallons of sewage spilled into the Los Angeles River, prompting beach closures. The spill was reportedly caused by a malfunction in sanitation equipment, which resulted in an overflow of sewage. The city of Long Beach, California, in a news release stated that all open coastal swimming areas would be temporarily closed until the water quality meets state requirements. Sanitation crews have already finished their first round of cleaning this Friday, but it's unclear when beaches will reopen. The abortion pill mifepristone will remain on market while the legal challenge towards it continues, which the Supreme Court will rule on this Friday. The legality of mifepristone has been debated after the Trump-appointed U.S. District Judge Matthew Kaczmarek suspended the drug nearly 2 weeks ago. In its nearly 23 years of being on the market, mifepristone, when taken along with misoprostol, has been shown to be a safe and effective drug. Eric Baptist, the senior counsel for the Alliance Defending Freedom, stated that removing abortion-inducing drugs will, quote, protect people from dangerous chemical abortions, end quote.
The U.S. carried a swift evacuation of all its staff serving at the embassy in Sudan's capital on Sunday. No shots were fired and no major casualties reported. The White House press secretary warned U.S. citizens in Sudan that there will be no other organized evacuations and to shelter in place. At least 78 people were killed in Yemen capitals on Wednesday at an event distributing financial aid. According to witnesses and Houthi rebel officials, the crowd began panic at sounds of gunfire and electrical explosions, causing Yemen's deadliest tragedy that was unrelated to the war. 77 other people were injured and 13 children are in critical condition. The Houthis said that they would pay compensation to families who lost a relative and to those injured. The FBI is building a war crimes case against top Syrian officials for the death of an American aid worker in 2016. 26-year-old Layla Shibankili spent almost a year being tortured in various prisons before being executed. She's known to be the first American citizen killed by the Syrian government. The U.S. has already imposed sanctions against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad administration for violence against civilians, amongst other abuses.
For Primetime Verifies, the university recently announced a housing assistance program to support students eligible for the Texas Advanced Commitment, or TAC, tuition assistance program. The housing pilot program focuses on first-year students and is only available to students who choose to live in campus dorms, giving them up to $1,800 in assistance per academic year. UT on-campus housing will cost at least $13,111 next academic year, meaning the new program will cover at most 13.7% of housing costs for eligible students. By UT's own estimates, the cost of attending the university for students who live on campus is at minimum almost $31,000. This means that the $1,800 is about 6% of total costs. Students who qualify for TAC must be Texas residents and receive aid for all or portions of their tuition. However, removing tuition costs from the cost of attendance only brings down the total to almost $20,000. This would mean that this new program would offset costs by only about 9% for students who need it most. After the break, we'll have Kevin Myers coming on to bring us up to date in business, and Joseph Sweeney coming on to tell us about STEM. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
I'm Hope Vanderberg here at TSTV News headquarters, and you're watching Texas News Primetime.
To Texas News Primetime. Joining us now for Primetime Business, we have Kevin Myers. What's going on this week in business, Kevin?
Well, first off, last week Fox News settled its lawsuit with Dominion Voting Systems for over $780 million. This came as a result of the 2020 election, in which Fox personalities aired debunked election fraud claims about the voting technology firm. Earlier today, multiple removals of top cable news hosts have rocked the media landscape. Fox issued a statement saying that top-rated host Tucker Carlson and the network have decided to part ways, wishing Carlson luck and thanking him for his service. Carlson was the most-watched host in cable, frequently topping 3 million nightly viewers. Carlson was also well known for his right-wing commentary, attacking immigrants, the LGBTQ+ community, and most famously, the Green M&M. Additionally, longtime CNN anchor Don Lemon was fired just minutes before Carlson left Fox. Lemon had hosted CNN This Morning earlier today as usual and commented on Twitter that he was stunned by the announcement, also stating that there are, quote, larger issues at work, end quote. Lemon joined CNN in 2006 and has had a history of misogynistic comments both on and off air, with an argument on air about pay inequality in December of last year and a February statement that the presidential candidate Nikki Haley, quote, isn't in her prime, end quote. It is unknown if these statements led to his termination. And finally, Bed Bath & Beyond has announced it will be shutting its doors for the final time after filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy this week. The company is looking for someone to purchase the rest of its assets. Launched in 1971, the company was a titan in its industry, named a category killer. Bad leadership, bad stock, and job cuts are all reasons that the company has decided to close up shop. For a total of 480 stores have begun the closing process, and stores are expected to close on April 26th.
Thank you for coming on today, Kevin. Next, here to tell us what's been happening in STEM news, we have Joseph Sweeney. What's been going on this week in STEM, Joseph?
Well, SpaceX's recent launch of the Starship, the most powerful rocket ever created on Thursday, ended in an explosion mid-air after taking off from South Padre Island. The ship traveled for a few minutes and reached 39 kilometers over the Gulf of Mexico, the highest of any Starship rocket, before beginning to tumble and eventually exploding. Fortunately, no one was on board the spacecraft. Elon Musk, owner of SpaceX, had described the Starship as the vehicle that underlines their mission of sending people to Mars, and many experts say that the launch was still a success as it provides valuable data moving forward. Next up, an exclusive Medicaid review by NBC reveals that millions will lose their dental care coverage with the end of the COVID public health emergency as states redetermine Medicaid eligibility. Last month, news broke that about 15 million people would lose health care coverage under Medicaid. This new data, compiled by CareCust Institute for Oral Health, reveals that 14 million individuals, or 28% of Medicaid recipients, will lose their dental care coverage as well. This comes at a time when, according to the American Dental Association, dental costs have been rising in the United States from $95 billion in 2000 to $162 billion in 2021. States have up to a year to determine new Medicaid eligibility. Finally, James Webb Telescope recently captured images that illustrate the formation and assembly of galaxies within the universe. The telescope was able to capture a protocluster of 7 galaxies that existed 650 million years following the Big Bang. Based on the data collected, astronomers suggest that the protocluster will resemble the Coma cluster, one of the biggest clusters in the universe. These recent findings have been fundamental for astronomers to understand the beginnings of the universe.
Thank you for coming on today, Joseph. Next up, after the break, we'll have Alec Alvarez coming on for this week's segment of Press Box on Primetime. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
I'm Mal Lambert here at TSTV News Headquarters, and you're watching Texas News Primetime.
Welcome back to Texas News Primetime. Joining us now for our segment of Press Box on Primetime, we have Alec Alvarez. Alec, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Kev. I'm a little nostalgic. You know, it's my last time on here with you. It's an honor to be here. Let's get it one last time, one last dance.
Well, take me through the sports highlights for this week. Why not?
Yeah, so to recap of the sports news from the weekend, let's start off with UT tennis. Number 1 men's tennis fell in the Big 12 final this weekend, 4-1 versus TCU. It was only their 3rd loss of the season, and all 3 of their losses were against teams ranked within the top 10. In other Texas tennis news, and on a brighter note for the Horns fans, number 12 women's tennis claimed the Big 12 title, defeating number 14 Oklahoma to secure their 3rd straight and 13th overall Big 12 crown. Both teams now await the NCAA championship brackets to be unveiled in the coming week. In track news, we had a record-breaking weekend with senior Haftu Knight breaking the Texas 4-year 5K meter program record at Stanford this past weekend. Knight's personal best time was 13 minutes and 32 seconds, breaking the previous one by 31 seconds. In other news, a huge piece of the Texas men's basketball program, Dylan Dessou, announced via social media. The show goes on in the infamous words of the great Leonardo DiCaprio, as he said on The Wolf of Wall Street. And here you can see his highlights. He was a huge integral piece of the Longhorns' run in the March Madness tourney all the way to the Elite Eight. He broke several records held by none other than the Kevin Durant and LaMarcus Aldridge, who are not only Horns legends, but NBA legends as well. He led the Big 12 in blocks. He was the most outstanding player of the tournament in the Big 12 title game. But anywho, on to the NBA. Warriors were down 0-2 in the series. They tied it up 2-2 this weekend. And the Nuggets failed to sweep the Wolves. So they're up 3-1. Braun and Brooks have been having words all week. They're looking to go up 3-1 tonight. They're leading 2-1. And there you got the bracket right there. It's been a wild week of NBA playoffs, but we'll see how the rest of round 1 shakes out with the Heat going up 3-1 on the Bucks tonight, actually. So we'll see if the number 1 seeded Bucks become one of the only teams in NBA history to lose to an 8 seed.
Action-packed week overall, but one of the things I got to ask you, I mean, it is your last time ever on TSTV. What are your some of your favorite memories and highlights of just covering sports here?
Yeah, that's a fantastic, Kev. Favorite memories. Honestly, man, so I studied business, right? I studied sports management, all that good stuff. So I'm coming more from the business side of things. So for me, a favorite memory of mine was like just coming in here and learning. Like I didn't even know what a light was coming in, right? I know how to write a script, any of that stuff. So just learning from everyone here that's super talented, like becoming boys with you, Kev, just everyone in here that's amazing. You know, Julia, my boy Joe over here with the camera, you know, all that good stuff. It's just been dope learning, honestly, more than anything, and feeling what it's like to be behind the camera like this as opposed to me where it's like podcast, do whatever you want, being actually on air and having to abide by like not saying certain words, not cursing on camera. So honestly, just the people and everything I've learned. That's what it's been.
Well, I got to say, you've been a great addition to the team this semester, so happy to have you this semester overall. Alec, if you could give any advice to underclassmen who will do this next semester or who want to just like break into covering sports, I mean, what do you got to say to them?
Yeah, no, great question. I think it all starts with looking within, seeing like what your interests are, what your passions are, and narrowing into those passions. And then from there, it's like kind of looking at other people that you might want to be. It could be like Stephen A. Smith, for example, right? Like looking at how he speaks, how he crafts his game, and taking what you want from that and throwing your own style into it, being you. That's how I do it. That's the advice I'd give.
Got to emulate your role models, am I right?
But be you.
Well, I mean, thank you so much for coming on, Alec. Next up after the break, we will have Rayon Shao come on for entertainment, so stay tuned and we'll be right back.
I'm Julia Meah at TSTV headquarters, and you're watching Texas News Primetime.
Welcome back to Texas News Primetime. Bringing us this week's entertainment, we have Rayon Sheikh. How are you doing today, Rayon?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, what do you have for us this week in entertainment?
First, recent rumors surrounding actor Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner have been confirmed to be true. The pair, who were first spotted hanging out together and visiting each other earlier this month, have remained quiet. But sources close to them have confirmed the romance speculations. The news comes mere months after it was confirmed that Jenner and longtime boyfriend Travis Scott were on a break.
Well, Rayon, what's your reaction to this news?
I definitely think I never would have thought to hear Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner in the same sentence, so it's a surprise, but I'm happy for the couple.
You know, personally, I'm praying for their downfall. First Bad Bunny, and now Timothée Chalamet. It's just too much.
She's getting them all.
What do you have up next for entertainment?
Next, April seems to be Hollywood's month for announcing a slew of reboots fans hate. Last week, The Hollywood Reporter reported that Lionsgate was in the early development stage of a television series adaptation of the Twilight novels. This comes 11 years after Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 was released to commercial success. Twilight joins both Harry Potter and Moana in the recent reboots studios have announced in the past weeks.
Does Twilight deserve a reboot?
I don't know if it does. I think it is definitely indicative that studios are running out of ideas, but if fans are excited, then fans are excited and it'll make them money.
That's so true. I personally loved Twilight. Thank you so much for coming on today. Before we close out the show for this year, associate producer Joseph Sweeney brings us some moments from this year that made Texas News Primetime so special. Let's take a look.
Hello. Joseph said that she's prettier than me.
No, I didn't.
Joseph! For Monday, January 23rd, I'm Rue Moody.
And I'm Kevin Baskar. Thank you for joining us tonight.
My favorite Rihanna song is Bitch Better Have My Money.
It's unknown why Daddy Elon Musk is expanding.
This is me bawling my eyes out on my couch.
She wants
do you
it.
think that she's prettier than me?
And you said yes.
Vijaya Gadye. Following the firings, Musk tweets that Twitter will form Moderation Council.
Welcome back to Texas News Primetime. Joining me along is Mr. Texas and Sub.
Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. And catch us after entertainment.
Appreciate Nick coming on. We are going to talk about STEM news in a few seconds. Nick, well, I guess Mr. Texas, go take STEM.
And Mr. Romel. I forgot your first name for a second.
It's Grant.
But it's Grant, okay.
Our Lord and Savior, Elon Musk will solve this important issue.
Kevin Baskar.
And I'm Rue Moody. Thank you for joining us tonight.
After the break, we're going to be talking about Uvalde and gun control. Very fun topics. We'll be right back.
Up next, we have a coming up on for our special segment of Press Box on Primetime.
My shirt is disappearing because I'm wearing green.
How are you doing today, Julia?
I'm doing great. You know, the S in STEM stands for sexy.
While researching how our brain tells us how to start.
With Miss Sophia Kurtz. UT researchers have found... Thank you, Rue.
You're so welcome.
UT researchers...
Well, that was entertaining. Before we go, well, it's actually Julia Meah's last show of the year. You are a senior. I mean, what are your thoughts of your entire year? What was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment, I think, definitely had to be us filming the Cables package, just being at a bar from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m., meeting all the bouncers and things like that was just kind of a funny experience. And then, of course, the people here. I love everyone here, all our crew. So that's been some of my favorite parts.
You've been a part of TSTV for this entire year. Coming in, what was like your initial reaction? Do you think like we were like, just uptight, hostile, like, weird, like pretentious people? Or what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I was thrown off by the suits. All the guys here were like wearing really professional suits, and I was like, man, these people seem a little stuck up. But then later on, everyone became really cool, and I've just loved my time here. Everyone's so funny. There's just so many good moments, as you can tell from the blooper reel.
And if you were to give advice to any, say, underclassman who's coming in to join Primetime or any other TSTV show there is, what advice would you give to them?
I would say keep such an open mind. I never thought I would love broadcast as much as I did. And then I stayed here with you guys and I learned so much. And I think, if anything, doing broadcast journalism has taught me one thing, is that you can still be loud, but also be humble. And you learn the most from people when you just listen to them speak first. And it really taught me that.
So is there something you just want to say, like on your last show of the year?
Yeah, the S in STEM stands for sexy. Well, that's my sign off.
Thank you so much, Julie, for coming on. You've been a great addition to the team, and so on and so forth.
As always, you can follow Texas News Primetime and TSTV News on social media just by searching. Also, take us on the go with you by subscribing to our podcast, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.
Thank you all for joining. Thank you all so much for joining us this past year, and we hope to see you all in the fall. And that being said, I'm Kevin Baskar.
And signing off for the last time for Texas News Primetime and TSTV, I'm Julia Meah. Now go out and change your world.